everyone, welcome back to the channel, Brains and Beauty. I'm a PhD student studying brains and also a beauty lover. And on my channel, I like to promote conscious consumerism by being creative with our collections. So today's video is a perfect example of that. What we're going to be looking at today is actually my Clionadh shadows. So in previous videos on my channel, I already did swatches of all of these eyeshadows. So in the first Clionadh swatch haul video, I swatched the two jeweled multichromes, Forge and Gothic, along with this row of the iridescent multichromes. The second video I did was all the glitter multichromes, so this section over here. And then the last video I just posted was actually my recent haul from Clionadh, and I bought during the sale these two green jeweled multichromes and then these four iridescent multichromes. So you can see in those videos I do really close-up swatches where I point out every single shade in the multichrome and really take my time to show you that. But in this video what I want to do is I want to go through all of these iridescent multichromes and layer them over a black base to see if any of them can dupe the jeweled multichromes. Now I know this became particularly popular after A Terra Moon's post. In their post they showed that Red Giant, which I have over here, over a black base, basically created this really gorgeous multichrome that resembles a lot something to Forge, like a red to green to gold kind of rich multichrome. So given that I already found in a previous swatch video that Ray from Clionadh is a dupe for Red Giant, I'm really curious to literally compare these two and see, are they actually exact dupes if I layer Ray over a black base? And then similarly, some of these other green iridescent multichromes, I want to see if any of them over a black base can do Patina or Gargoyle over here. And then as we go through, we can also see if any of these over a black base look like jeweled multichrome shadows on the Clionadh website, ones I don't have, because you can still kind of look at pictures and see if they resemble them or not. I'm really curious to see if Aura is like Smoulder, because I kind of think it might be. I don't know, I'm just super excited to start this video, so let's just get right into it. One thing I want to know before we do all of them is whether the type of black base matters. So I love learning these kind of things with you guys, so we're gonna just test it out quickly before we do all the swatches on a black base. So what I want to see is whether a metallic black eyeshadow or a matte black eyeshadow make a difference in terms of layering them on top. Does it change the shininess of the actual final jeweled multichrome? And then I'll also do a liquid eyeshadow type of black swatch using the Inglot Duraline mixed with the black shade. So I just want to do that first just so that we know, in case you're someone who wants to layer these over a black base to get the jeweled multichrome effect, you can know which eyeshadow base would be better. So this black shade is actually what I used when I did this process for the shade Looksy in my Shine by SD video, and I actually mixed it in together, so you can see that in that video. For the matte eyeshadow, I'm going to use this from the Nudes CoverGirl palette. I have figured out kind of recently that this isn't the truest black, but I think it'll do. It's black enough, but yeah, I feel like it has a touch of brown in it that I wasn't really aware of before. So in one of my mixing videos, the blue shade in the Myrte palette didn't end up as a black and blue, was because this isn't a perfect black shade. But it's my only black matte, so this is what we're gonna go with. Do you see what I'm saying? This one kind of looks more blue when you compare it to this, but it really is a black. So I don't know if it's just that this one is too brown or this one's too blue. Lastly, I'm going to use the matte one for the liquid. Okay, I'm just going to wash these two fingers and I'll be right back while we let this dry. Okay, so this has dried and I honestly do feel like these are brown and this is kind of a bluey black. So I'm going to also use this eyeliner from Marc Jacobs. This should be, yeah, a true black. I guess we're doing more than one kind of experiment right now with this. We're going to see if the slight undertone in a really dark shade matters. And then we're also going to see if something that is a shimmer, a matte, or a liquid that's dried down is different. Or even a cream. Wow, guys, okay, we're really doing the test here. I want to start off with Ray just because I feel like that's the one that I'm most confident is going to be a jeweled multichrome. So Let's test this out with Ray. So cool. So I do see a bit of green at the edges, but most prominently it's like a fiery red shade. So the plus of putting it over a dried base is that you don't have anything else on your finger, so you can go back into the eyeshadow and build it up more if you want to. So you can intensify the iridescent as much as you want, but from my experience with layering over powder products, you might end up unintentionally mixing. And one thing that we learned when I did my duping the Cinderella Sigma palette by mixing eyeshadows in my collection, I found out that mixing multichromes with a base, you have to be very careful and use much more of the multichrome than the base itself. So here in these swatches, if I take a swatch of Ray and I put it over this black eyeshadow, the amount of product is technically 50-50. So if it starts to mix, it's going to really dull out the eyeshadow. So what I'm going to be careful is just to tap it over rather than allowing the two eyeshadows to mix. Okay, going back into Ray. See what I mean? It's already mixed on my finger even though I was really trying to just tap and slide. Now, the slight mixing actually brings out the undertone better. I was not expecting that. But since the shadow mixed on my finger, I would not go in with this finger back into Ray or else I'm going to get black into the iridescent eyeshadow. So that's the only kind of downside. Like if I was doing this on my eyes, I'd have to use another finger or another brush to put on more iridescent eyeshadow because basically, while this looks nice, it's a bit dull. It's not as shiny as the liquid one, and I think that's just because I didn't put on as much. So let me go in with another finger into Ray and then give another layer of the iridescent eyeshadow. Okay, now I feel like it's the same shininess with the two layers. Okay, now let's see if the shimmer eyeshadow is different than the matte base. Okay, right off the bat, it's much shinier. Yeah, I feel like the level of shine on this is equivalent to these two, and these two have two layers. But the color is slightly different. Like, do you see that there? How the color is more pastel-y than this? Even with a second layer, I still feel like these two, the color is more vibrant or deeper than this one. But shine-wise, they're kind of all the same after two layers, like between the matte and the shimmer. It could be possible, actually it's likely possible that what we're seeing here right now is that this was the only black that was a little bit more blue leaning. These were a little bit more brown leaning. And if you think about color theory, blue will cancel out warmer shades. And these are all like warmer shades like the red and the orange. So here with the green, I don't feel like the green is canceled out at all. See, that just further proves the point, like it's only the warm shades like the red that were really neutralized. Oh, and the orange as well has been neutralized a little bit. So yeah, the base does matter, even if it's just a slightly little bit more cool toned of a black base, so that's good to know. Okay, let's do the final swatch over the Marc Jacobs Gel Cream Liner, the Truest Matte Black. Okay, this is really interesting. So this didn't mix in at all with the eyeliner. It's very much just kind of like layered on top. So I don't know how easy it is to tell, but I just feel like the vibrancy on this, it's kind of the strongest out of all of these. And that's probably because it is a true black and it's very dark. So I hypothesized that the shimmer would make it more shiny and the matte would dull it down, but lightly tapping both of them, there isn't much of a difference after two layers. In terms of the liquid and the cream that dried down, I would only use these if I'm going to be doing a cut crease because the con is kind of that they have jagged edges, so you can't really blend them out as easily as with an eyeshadow. When it like just mixes, it kind of blends easier. But now you know what all four of the bases are like, so you can choose for yourself what you prefer. I think for me, honestly, I kind of like the eyeshadows mixing together, and I actually prefer even pre-mixing things rather than layering them. But at that point, does it matter if it's a matte or if it's a shimmer? I don't know if at that point the matte pigment might actually dull it down. So that's what we learned about the bases in terms of the type of the base. In terms of the undertone, I really do think it does matter. So I want to show you this with a mirror. Can you see here that the green with the shimmer base that was slightly more blue tone, the second swatch, is more blue tone than the green with the brown base, the bottom two. The green over those black-brown bases is more of like a yellowy green, a murky green. And then over the true black, like the top swatch, it's more similar to over the blue-black kind of shimmer, so it's more of a foresty type of green. So basically, if you do have a blue base black, what's happening is it's going to cancel out those warm tones. So the red is going to be more of a pinkish shade rather than a vibrant red. And then if you have a warmer black base like I had with the brown base, it's going to cancel out cooler tones like the green and turn it from a forest green to like a murky yellow green. So seriously, those like small changes in the undertone of the base really matter because they can change the final colors of the multichrome. Alright, time to find some dupes. So since we already have Ray down, let's actually swatch Forge. So I'm going to swatch it above these swatches and to the side. Okay, right off the bat, so much more green in Forge. Forge is so pretty. Okay, so here are my conclusions. This vibrant red is duped by Ray, so you will get this. But what's missing is that green. There's nothing like that in Ray over a black base. Like you can definitely see the orange, the red, the pink, and the gold, similar to Forge, but you don't see those bright greens, the emerald, and the peridot. It's just a very soft green at the edges of Ray. But one flip in Forge and it's completely green. Ray, it's only green at the edges at an extreme angle. Okay, I don't know if this is because it's layered rather than mixed in with the base, so I just want to test this out once. I'm going to mix the matte black with the shimmer black just so that the warm and the cool tone kind of neutralize each other a little bit. And then I'm also adding Duraline Inglot and the Ray Multichrome into it just to kind of make a fully mixed in shadow. And then I swatched Forge underneath it. So basically, I just tried to give it its best shot, and it's just looking like the rest of these. And it's not looking like Forge. I really don't think it's a mixing situation that's making it different. I think genuinely the pigments are not the same. Do you see how Forge even goes to a teal? There's no way Ray's getting there. I think Ray is actually a good dupe for Kiln, which is another red-based kind of jeweled multichrome in Clionadh's line. And yeah, I'm just looking at a lot of pictures of Gillen and it really looks like it. I was also wondering if maybe it looked like Sandblast because it does have that green murkiness that Sandblast has at the end. But the vibrancy of that red and how it has that kind of really intense pinkish red makes it more like Kiln. Like it's not just an orange to a murky green, it's very much a red to a very vibrant orangey gold. So that is exactly a dupe for Kiln. Which is actually perfect because I was really debating about getting kiln and now I'm like, I can save that money for a different multichrome. Okay, I'm gonna go wash my hands so that we can move on to swatching the rest of the shades. Okay, I've decided for the rest of the swatches I'm gonna use the Marc Jacobs black liner because it's a true black and I really don't want any kind of undertone influencing what these eyeshadows look like. So yeah, the edges won't be blended or mixed, but with this video I'm just trying to get across whether any of these iridescent multichromes can dupe the jeweled multichromes. Also, it'll be less messy for me because I can just draw it on and then I can layer as many times as I want. Alright, let's do the other kind of warm multichromes that I have. I'm thinking of doing Halo and then Aura. Okay, Halo is so pretty over a black base. It really brings out the orange and green. I think you guys are seeing this perfectly, like the vibrant orange, gold, and green. Such a pretty shade, but let me see if it dupes anything. I feel like it's too vibrant to be sandblast. Like it's much more of a tropical kind of color, you know? The green is very vibrant, the orange is very vibrant, but it's not the same as Forge, like there isn't a red. Like there is this really hot orange at this angle, but I don't think it's like a red. So I'll just swatch Forge underneath so we can see the difference. So we can clearly see that Forge's red is like a true cool toned red, whereas Halo is just such a bright orange. But their other shifts are really similar, like when one goes green, the other goes green. When one goes gold, the other goes gold. So they're very similar until they get to this shift, and then you can tell they're not dupes because it's a true red for Forge. I'm going to keep Forge on here because it's probably nice to see next to the next shade Aura. Aura was from my recent Clionadh haul, and honestly, it was just such a fun summery color. Okay, so this definitely doesn't dupe Forge, but y'all, doesn't this really look like Smoulder? I'll put pictures up on the screen, but let me show you a close-up. We have that vibrant fuchsia hot pink, but also the green and the gold. And Clionadh describes it as being this kind of magenta, orange, gold, lime shade. And I do see the gold, the lime green. From the pictures I'm seeing, I mean, you guys can decide as well. You're seeing what it looks like, and you can also take a look at the pictures and decide for yourself if you feel like this is close enough for you to dupe it out, but to me it is. Like I've been curious about Smoulder, but now that I have this, I feel like I'm good. I'm so excited to use this in eye looks. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. If I were to be super picky, there are some pictures online where the flip goes from pink to orange to green, and here it's kind of looking like it flips quickly from pink to green. But there are pictures like this as well that flip directly from pink to green. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this dupe, and I feel like it saved me the $25 to purchase Smoulder as well. Alright, so I'm really curious about the next one. The next one we're going to do is Gloaming. Don't think it's going to dupe anything out, but I'm just curious to see what it looks like over a black base, because if you saw my last swatch video, this one is more of a very unique shade. Like, it's more of a neutral eyeshadow. The colors in it, like all of these other iridescents, are very neon-y. So the red is very neon, the orange is very like a fiery hot orange, and then the UV purple, all very like, yeah, neon shadows. The gloaming is like a pastel pink to a kind of pastel-y green. So it's just really unique and I really love it. So I want to see though over a black base what really shines through. Okay, whoa. That was so unexpected. I mean, I guess. So you still can see the baby pink. Like it really didn't like turn it into a vibrant neon shade just by having a deep base. So you can see there all their different warm undertones. So I don't think this actually dupes anything from Clionadh's jeweled multichrome line. You can see it's like this beigey gold that goes to... I think that the thing that really makes it special is that it doesn't just go to a green, it also goes to this like teal, which is really, really cool. The fact that there's like a silvery, beigey pink going to the teal reminds me of Shine by Estee's Revenge. Like I know it's not that pigment though because it's a very soft pink. It's not purpley enough for it to be like Shine by Estee Revenge. It just gives me that vibe because it goes to that like tealy blue. At this angle, it kind of feels like what I wanted Gargoyle to be. Like I wanted it to be that pewter in the center with the emeralds on the side. But if you've seen the video that I posted before with the swatches of Gargoyle, Gargoyle is nothing like this. The pewter is not as easy to see as the neutral shade is easy to see here. They do both have that emerald. And teal, it's just that Gargoyle goes to a really, really black and purple at the edges. But this doesn't have anything like that, so I don't think this dupes out Gargoyle. And while I did say that this goes to a teal, like you can see that so strongly here, it's not like Forge because the red in Forge is super strong and this is more of a silvery pink. I was also thinking maybe it could dupe Weld, but there are some swatches of Weld where Weld is just very, very brown, and this isn't brown. So I wouldn't say that this is a dupe for Weld, but I definitely can see the similarities. Like there are some ways where Weld can look a bit like a pink to an emerald, but it's just a lot grungier. But I still love this. It's a very unique pigment. Alright, so we did the warm tone quad over here. Let's do the cool tone quad now. I have Phosphorescent, UV, Luxe, Glow, and I also have Gilding. I kind of want to do Phosphorescent first. You can see this in my last swatch video. It has a bit of a red, magenta, purpley shift. So I am curious to see what this looks like over a black base, if it brings out more of that red, or if it really is more of a purpley, magenta kind of shade. Kind of wish I extended the black shade, so let me just do that. Okay, so I took a lot of time to carefully look at swatches online, and I feel like this looks closest to Oculus. So I already swatched in the Shine by SD video the shade Luxie here, and that one over a black base looks a lot like Anil. This one is similar, but it's not quite the same because it goes to a red. You can see that right there. And Anil doesn't have red, but Oculus actually does have red, and I think this really does look like Oculus. So you can really see that green to blue to purple, and then the red at the edges. So that's all what Oculus looks like in its description, but it's also described to have an orange, and I think that's the one thing that I've looked at in different lightings and I just can't see. I was also thinking maybe crown glass, but like it has too much green to be crown glass. It's closer to Oculus. And look at that purple. Oh my gosh. That purple is so nice. So I looked on Instagram and I took my time and I really do think that this looks like Oculus. Like this looks so close. It has all the colors. This green might be a little too vibrant, but it just depends on the angle. Like here it does look more blue the way it does in those kind of pictures that don't have as much green in it. But yeah, it's honestly so close, and like the only thing that I don't see is that orange. But like I don't see that in pictures or on the eyes for other people who have Oculus, so I really do think this is like Oculus. Do you guys feel like this is a dupe? I mean, it's up to you to decide, but for me, I feel like this makes me not really need to buy Oculus anymore, but I am still curious about that like goldish orange shift. So I do want to get crown glass just because I think I'd even see it more with that color since the Oculus shift goes from green to blue to purple to red and then gold. But the crown glass kind of goes, it starts from blue, so it goes blue, purple, red, and gold. So you're likely going to see more of that gold with that one. So I've made my mind up. I do kind of want to get that one because I already have this and I feel like this is super close to Oculus. Alright, so next we're doing Luxe. Okay, so I want to show you my angle. Do you see how deep that teal blue is? It's so, so cool. Then you have that vibrant emerald, and it goes to the gold right there. And then you have that deep teal at the end. Gosh, I really thought this would be the case. Like, I thought that Luxe would over a black base do Patina, and it really looks like it does. And you know, I told myself, like, Rima, it probably does. Like, don't get Patina, get Weathered. But then they both had that same kind of like goldy green shade, and I was like, I may as well just get Patina because it also goes to like an emerald. It's just such a pretty shade. So let's just compare this to Patina right now. So the teals are pretty much identical. It's really this green shift that's different. So at this angle, Luxe is more emerald, while Patina has more of this kind of goldy green shade. So you can see right there, the golden Patina kind of just takes up more space in the middle. which is really interesting because, like, Luxe without a base is very gold. So, like, over a dark base, it doesn't have much gold to it. But they are still similar, like you can see that's just Luxe is more emerald. Oh, but at this angle, the gold and the green are really similar, you guys. Okay, so I went off and I took a couple of pictures of these two and I'll put them up on the side while we chat. I know in the camera it's looking like this is much more of a yellowy green, this is much more of an emerald green, so they're not the same. But in reality, they're genuinely the same. And I'll show you that in the pictures. It's just that, like, this black base under Luxe is making the green stronger, and I think the black base under Patina or in Patina is softer than that black base under Luxe, so that's why it's doing that. I really think they are the same pigment because they have the same shift at the same angle of like the green, the gold, the teal. They both don't have purple at the end, they just have teal at the end. Like, I really do think they are identical. But again, you're just not seeing this on camera because of the blackness of the base. Like, it's just not reflecting the green the same. Like, maybe you can see that a bit right there, but I still think you see more of the emerald compared to the gold. I'm gonna try something out that I wasn't expecting to do. I want to see if I put a black base and then I put patina over it, will it then look like Luxe over the black base? This is how you know I'm a researcher. I want to test all the variables. Okay, so do you see how now that I put that black base, patina is starting to look more emerald, similar to Luxe? Like, this is the shade patina, literally, and this is the shade patina without that black liner base. How interesting is that? I still think that Luxe looks in the camera more like a bluey green than like a like goldy green, but I promise it's really the same in real life. Like, do you see here? You can see that patina over a black base just makes it more green, more like the limey green than the gold. So I think if you wanted patina, you would just have to mix Luxe with like the tiniest bit of black. You need to be careful not to go overboard because otherwise it's gonna lean more into the emerald than the gold. So yeah, I would personally say they are dupes because the pigment that is used in patina is the same as this pigment used in Luxe, which I think most people will find pretty surprising because if you look up close on Luxe, it's like this kind of gold purple, has a bit of lime, but mostly like this different kind of shift, so it's kind of unexpected, which is fun to find out. So I'm really glad I honestly did this because I feel like I'm discovering more ways to use the iridescent eyeshadows that I own and more ways to make them different, which is really what makes them so special. Alright, let's do gilding now over here. So gilding is really flaky, so I'm just going to try to rub it in a little bit so we don't get a white cast and more of the actual color. I don't think anything dupes gilding. Like at the edges rather than a teal, it's more like a navy to be honest. And then it has that bright gold shift to it. Like a true gold. Like this is not a greeny gold, this is more like a goldy orange. So this is not like patina, it's not a green. it's like genuinely a true intense gold. I checked pictures of Burnish and I don't think it looks like Burnish because it's not orangey enough. And the edges really aren't that green. It's more like a gold to like a turquoisey green and definitely a navy. And there's that kind of like silver neutrally gold shade that none of the other jeweled multichromes have. So Vermeil might look like another candidate, but it's really more of a gold to blue than it has like an emphasis on green. But yeah, just look how cool that shade is. Like, honestly, I'm so happy I did this because I always wanted a gold to blue kind of shift, and it's literally this. And you know, it doesn't even look that smoky. Like, I can tell that these that have the black base, like when I put Lux on the black base, went more smoky. But this is almost like it's a gray base kind of multichrome. It doesn't look like it has a black base. Okay, so that was gilding. Let's do glow next. I really feel like glow is also going to be one of those that we don't have anything for it because it's like a baby blue. Okay, like I said, I don't think Clionadh has anything like this, like a jeweled multichrome, this baby blue. Like the blues that they have like Spire are a very deep blue, whereas here it's just kind of showing the baby blue to the purple shift on the edges. You can see it there. It's the typical shift we know from glow. There's just nothing that has this really bright sky blue kind of shade. Okay, let's do our last one on this hand over here. I kind of want to do it here just because I want to see it compared to Gothic. Okay, so this one is the most like, I don't want to say boring, but like it didn't do anything other than we expected. Like this is the shade, the UV shade, and then typically this shade is known to be a UV purple to peach. I found it more of a yellowy kind of shift. And I was hoping maybe that warm color with the purple would pop up over the black base. But I don't see that at all. I just see at an angle it becomes more of a muted pinky kind of purple. And then at this angle it's more of a vibrant kind of deep purple. I mean, it's still pretty. I mean, it's kind of like just these two shades literally, this kind of more vibrant purple, kind of indigo, and then this muted lilac-y purple. So I'll just swatch UV next to it, but I know it's definitely not a dupe. So yeah, Gothic is more warm toned. It has the warm tone purple, the red, the gold in it. While UV looks more cool tone, like there's even a bit of an indigo to it. Okay, I feel kind of bad that I said that this was a boring shade. It is still pretty cool, like that it goes from that UV kind of indigo-y purple to more of a muted, more like a mauve-y purple right here. So it's still really cool and I will enjoy using it on my eyes. It just doesn't dupe any of the jeweled multichromes. So it doesn't have more shifts that were like hidden, or the way like Lux looks completely different over a black base than it does as an iridescent shade. This one is more predictable. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Really cool to see what we could dupe and what we couldn't dupe from the jeweled multichromes. I'm glad that I could show you that Patina could be duped, just depending on how strong of a black base is under the shade Lux. And I honestly feel like I duped Smoulder with the Aura shade, so that's pretty cool. Oh, and Kiln with Ray too. Some of these, like, yeah, they didn't dupe anything, but they're so nice. Like, it's really cool to look at how Gloaming looks over a black base and how Gilding looks over a black base. Just really stunning. Like, I'm still mesmerized looking at all of this. But I hope this was helpful. I hope it helped you decide whether you're gonna get the jeweled multichrome or whether you'd rather get the iridescent. There is still so much more that iridescent multichromes can do. Like, yeah, they can either be the original iridescent shades or they can be these deeper tones that are similar to jeweled multichromes if they're layered over a black base. But they can also be mixed together and they can be layered over colored eyeshadows to make them into other shades. So I'm actually really excited because I wanted to do this first. And then I'm thinking of actually integrating this into my series called Make It or Buy It, where I mix eyeshadows that I already own to make eyeshadow palettes that are new to the market. So I did the Sigma Cinderella palette. I also did the Mount Myrte palette because I just wanted that for so long. And yeah, they were honestly just such successes. And it's just so easy to use color theory to mix mattes and shimmers and just figure out how to dupe those shades from palettes. But for a while, I stayed away from multichromes because I can't just mix a red and a green and then get, like a red to green multichrome. But my goal from buying all the rest of these iridescent shades, especially from Clionadh in my recent haul, so that now I can actually start to do some make it or buy it on like 4 shades from my single shadow multichrome wish list, see if I can make them using the iridescent multichromes. And if I can't, it'll help me figure out that it would be a good idea to buy them. But yeah, it'll be pretty fun. Like, I'll still be doing the palette videos. Like, I love those. But it's like an additional thing that I can add into that series. So yeah, stay tuned for more videos on these kinds of mixing content. And if you want me to do anything with these iridescent multichromes, just let me know. I will definitely include it in a future video. So if you like that kind of content and you want to see more of it, please do subscribe. And if you like this video, please give it a like. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!